All right, we are live, and I think you're going to be. I just did one. It wasn't last night, was it? Maybe it was last night. Anyway, I think you're going to be episode 119. So thank you for taking the time. I totally
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Yeah, I was gonna. I mean, there's tons of stuff I want to dive into, but I did see a few weeks ago you posted something. I don't know if you finished training or got a certification you were looking for.
Yeah, I got a certification. So I did this training. So I'm a nurse,
Yeah.
and I did this training through something called the Nurse Coach Collective, and it's an additional certification that nurses can get to become nurse coaches. So
Okay.
health and wellness and lifestyle coaching with a nursing endorsement. So I went through the class last year, and then I sat for the boards or took the test for the boards just recently. And so I can use my endorsement with the business.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened with that. So that's what happened
Because
in
you've
October.
been you already were a nurse as a career, but this was to
Yes.
take the next step because you're starting your own business.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's talk
I
about that. What's it called? I'll put a
yeah, so
link to it in the comments.
Yeah, so it's called Next Ascent Coaching, Next Ascent Coaching,
Mhm.
and so basically the idea with health, wellness, and lifestyle coaching, anything, is that we find ourselves being stuck, and we don't move, and sometimes we need an outside force to help us to get going and move along, and sometimes we don't see those things within ourselves, the things that will keep us moving. And so working with a coach kind of helps with that. It helps people be accountable, and you co-create goals to become the best versions of yourself, or the versions of yourself of where you want to go or where you want to be. And I so I'm new to it, but the areas that I am working with are relationships or
Okay.
personal achievements, health goals, yes, but that's not. Basically, I want to get to the root of why people are not pursuing their goals. Like, what are the things? Where are they going? What are they doing? And what are the roadblocks of why
Okay.
where they're at? And so
Okay.
it's a health, wellness, and lifestyle coaching with a nursing perspective. That's the best way I can describe
Oh,
it.
and obviously you have a ton of experience as a nurse, but now you're kind of bringing that into a more holistic approach. Is that a
Absolutely.
good way to say it?
Yes, that's absolutely. So as you know, as someone I've been in healthcare, oh gosh, I got my first degree. I think you and I may have gone to college
No,
together.
we did. I just don't know if
Yeah.
we ever met, but we were there at the same
Yeah,
time.
we were at Western at the same time. So I got my first degree in geography, and then I went back in my 30s to get my nursing a nursing degree, and
Okay.
then I got my bachelor's after that. And just watching people and the people that come in, and my background in nursing is critical care, so ICU, ER,
Oh, like
step
trauma
down
stuff?
units. Yeah, I've done some trauma stuff.
Okay.
So I see this side of culture and our side of our life that's very broken and
Yeah.
very, a lot of things, and it's been very difficult, and the whole process, like COVID was a game changer in healthcare, and a lot of nurses are burnout, people are burnout, we lack compassion, we have compassion fatigue,
Yeah.
everyone is experiencing trauma in their own way. And so I saw this in my career, and I uh, had a job I was going back and forth between Southern Oregon and Bend, and I had a job in Southern Oregon that just was really daunting, and just seeing it just became really stressful for me. And
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but I just brought something up. I was a little. I don't like to do too much research because I want to learn about you as we talk.
yeah,
But you've done the traveling nurse thing because I know
yeah,
people that have done that. I don't know if that's what you've always done, but you've done it. You have done that.
yes, I did do it, and I did that towards the tail end of COVID. I went to the East Coast and worked in at a place in South Carolina, and I did a trauma ICU, a a neuro ICU and cardiovascular ICU. And so
Okay.
I did those three. And then just what I see is all these traumas, everybody experiencing these things. And I noticed within myself is that I was just feeling heavy, and I was wanting to keep my career in nursing and then just trying to figure out what I can do and be on a other side of it, a more preventative approach and a more
Okay.
holistic approach. And so I have been eyeing this program for a while. And then last year, or oh gosh, yeah, last year is when I finally took the plunge and did it. So that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm wanting to move in my career. Uh, from and I'm sure it will take 2 to 5 years to build, but this is where I'm headed and where I'm going. And I still work at the bedside, but my goal is to just help people move and go forward and go beyond their traumas and just get them past and reach their goals and live their best lives. And so that's kind of where I'm at
So you're
and
still
where
in
I'm focusing.
you're in Bend, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'm in Bend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
you do
made a
have a
permanent
regular
here.
you have a regular nursing job, but now you're starting this business,
I do.
and I think I'm assuming the goal is you want to build the business to maybe where that can become your full time.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And so I'll transition. I don't know if I can ever leave bedside. Like I'll probably still have my foot there, whether is like one day in a, per diem, one day a week. I don't know what that looks like, but there is something special to be at a bedside with somebody and you're entrusted with these intimate moments with people.
Hmm.
So there's something about that that's very rewarding. And I don't know if I can completely leave that, but ideally moving into the business more full time for
Well,
sure.
and maybe actually, it probably would be good to keep even a small foot in that world, so you don't lose touch with it, and you can bring lessons from that into your coaching. So in other words,
Absolutely.
you want to stay current, and you can bring that
Absolutely.
into your coaching business.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I mean, nursing is just such a wonderful field and it's so broad and it can be
Hmm.
moved in so many different directions. And I don't know, I don't know if you know this, but it's for many, many years, it's the most trusted profession in the United States.
Yeah.
Year after year, it is that because we are. I mean, we're at those intimate moments with people when they're having to deal with families and making really difficult decisions, or they just had a trauma and somebody's life just changed drastically. It's like we're there to help
Hmm.
people through that. So I'm really glad, or I'm really switching careers in my life in my 30s was probably the best thing I ever did for myself. It was a game changer for me, and I don't know why I didn't choose this out of the gates, but here I am now.
Well, I mean, I think it's a well-known fact that women develop and mature intellectually faster than men because men are dumbasses. But even in our 20s, it's very common that you don't quite know exactly what you want to do with your life. So it kind of makes sense that it didn't come to you until later.
Yeah, yeah,
But you've been doing
exactly.
the nursing thing since about your 30s. Before that, did you focus on your degree in geography, or was that
I
what it
well,
was?
I tried. I mean, I went to Western. I was one of four people that graduated with my degree at Western. I mean, Western was so small.
Only four people?
Yeah, there was only four of us that got a bachelor's in geography.
So
And
would you literally have to go to classes with just four of you?
no, the classes were full,
Oh, I'm
but
sorry. I
they
see what
weren't.
you're saying. But this
Yeah,
specific degree, there was only four that, okay.
yeah, there was only four of us that walked with my degree. But I I think in my posts and stuff, I wanted to be a park ranger, and I wanted to be in Yosemite. I wanted to work in
Hell
the
yeah.
field and just be out in the forest counting plants,
Why wouldn't you want
or
that? That
or
sounds
counting
amazing.
fish, or or doing all the things that in nature and outdoors. And I did work for the BLM and did some fun stuff like that. But the doors never quite open in that direction. And I ended up being a cartographer for the state of Oregon, and then I was a geographic, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
like drawing
a map
when
maker.
you need you want like those are the maps that will show the elevation change when you're looking at like BLM land. Is that
Yeah, you can do that, but yeah, at the time though, I worked with land maps, so
okay?
property boundaries is where I ended up. And I mean, it was a job in my field, but it wasn't necessarily my dream job. And then I got into geographic information systems.
Mhm.
And so I went to that, and then I worked for a private company. And then I had some life events happen where I quit all of that. And then I had to take a good look at my life and decide where I wanted to go. And so
Okay.
nursing was the thing that came up for me. And at the time, it was really interesting because I was thinking accounting or nursing, and I mean, you could
Oh,
do different things.
accounting sounds
You-
so stimulating.
I know, I know, and it's kind of funny that I think about that accounting was one of the things that came up, but nursing just seemed to be the best fit for me. And I don't know why. Well, Western didn't have that degree at the time. I think they may have it now, but they
Okay.
didn't have any degree of like that. It was a teaching school.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So Western was a teaching school, so that just on my um, wasn't in my periphery to even think about
Yeah.
nursing. And I came from a family where education wasn't super pushed. Like it wasn't like I have a twin,
Okay.
and my twin sister and we were the first ones to get 4-year degrees in our
Okay.
families, in all of our line of families. So it just wasn't something that was. So I went wasn't something that was a priority, I guess. And so I felt like I just went to go to school, but it wasn't necessarily, I was digging deep and trying to figure out what I wanted to be at that age.
Okay.
Um, so it came to me later, and that's okay. But I'm really glad it was a game changer for me, and I'm really glad that I pursued it.
And now your coaching business, give me the name of it again.
So it's Next Ascent Coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then again, from what I'm picking up on, it's not just going to be, helping clients with health, nutrition and exercise. It's a holistic approach to um, longevity, mental health care,
Hmm.
a career issues if they're in a career they don't like. Are you going to dare and dabble in because this is this can be a sticky area, but are you going to dare to even dip your toe in the relationship aspect of health?
Oh,
Like, you know
I,
what I mean?
yeah. I'm actually drawn to that,
Hmm.
honestly. So I'm kind of allowing it to go where it's gonna go,
Okay.
and the relationship part of it would be enjoyable for me because I really value relationships and how relationships are with people, or how people are with relationships. And so if it morphs in that direction, that would be fantastic because I value that. That's something that I value, and I would love to help people along that path. So yeah, so if it goes in that direction, that would be great too. Some of the things that are coming up for me right now is with my field and work, compassion fatigue, trauma. Uh, those are things that are confidence. Those are themes that are coming up for me at the moment, and I plan on doing some workshops in the future. So
So compassion fatigue, that's the first time I've heard that expression, but I know exactly what you
yeah,
mean. So it sounds like you might be able to potentially have some clients that were coworkers in your same field because they're going through
yeah,
this.
right, absolutely.
And is this something that you went through, and so now you have a perspective on it?
So I absolutely. So healthcare has gone through. I mean, I feel like we were steamrolled in the past
And
six years,
I don't want
or
to,
eight
I always
years.
tell my guests, I'm not trying to get dirt, talk about whatever you're comfortable talking about, but I would love to hear your perspective on this topic. So go.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I got into nursing way back when, I've been in the healthcare field for 20 years, and then I've been in nursing for, oh gosh, 13 years maybe. Been a nurse 13 years of those, or something like that. I don't know. I don't have the numbers memorized, but anyway, that when I first started, I was super excited, and it was something where I felt well supported in nursing, and I feel like the population of our country was much different, and there's been a decline, and I have to be careful about what I say,
I
but
understand.
there's been a decline in just how we care for ourselves. There's been a decline. We compassion fatigue with the constraints of going through COVID or dealing with patients who aren't taking care of themselves, and we are on the receiving end of that. COVID was rough because that was something that we have never really experienced in our lifetime, and it was very stressful because one day you think you have protective equipment, the next day you don't, and just to see how that affected our nation was interesting, very interesting. And healthcare was kind of on the receiving end of a lot of the brunt of that. So politically, you had different camps, how it was being treated were different camps, and all this stuff. And so it just created a very stressful situation for those of us in healthcare because we were on the receiving end of a lot of it. And then
Well, you were the front line
the
that
front lines,
had to
yeah.
take the brunt of the fact that all this chaos was going on. It all
Yeah.
fell on you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And prior to the um, COVID happening, the healthcare system was already stretched. And it was already, we were already having a heavy load. And so then COVID comes along and here, take this too.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really heavy. And so what transpired through all that is a lot of compassion fatigue. We had patients that disagreed with treatment plans, and we would get the feedback from that.
Yep.
Or you work in you see patients come in and their family members don't understand, and they're failing and they're not
Yep.
doing well, and it's like we have to put on our faces and be the voice. And so it's just really hard because that initial compassion that I felt when I first started nursing just kind of slowed down, and we would have to, with everything that we experienced, where do we find that compassion again? Where do we find that?
Yep.
And I have always felt that it's not the patient. So how we are being treated, it's not the patient that is the situation. Or how do I explain this? So say a patient comes in and say I disagree with how that person has lived their life and how they've taken care of themselves. I have held a strong belief that that is not that patient's fault. It's actually a more global issue with our society. That's a society issue versus that person's. I mean, yes, there's personal responsibility, but how that person got to be from birth until they walk into the door with that diagnosis that is a result of them not taking care of themselves. There's a whole slew of psychosocial, mental, cultural, there's so many things that happen to that person's life to lead them to that point.
Yes.
And that, to me, it's like almost like a fungus. A fungus that's out in nature that's destroying a cottonwood population.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That
Yes.
single tree is not the single reason why that thing is happening, but it's the global issue. So I've held that belief in nursing a lot, and that's really helped with my compassion fatigue because I'm able to look at the person and remind myself that yes, they have some personal responsibility, but there's a whole bunch of things influencing that personal responsibility, and it's actually the global issue that got that person to where they're at. So that's been something that that's been my approach, and I've been trying to, I'm hopeful that I put that out there into the world somehow.
Well, and that makes total sense though, because again, there's always an aspect of personal responsibility, but the environmental aspect has such an impact on people. where they were born, who they were born to, the life they grew up in. I mean, yeah, society in general and your environment also has a huge impact on how you become a person. Now, at some point, you become a grown adult and have to start making your own good choices. But not, I guess what I'm saying is not everybody starts on an equal playing field.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely, I agree with that 110%. And there's been stuff that that's been proven. It's very interesting because my demographic here in Bend is
Hmm.
significantly different than the demographic that I had in Southern Oregon. And that demographic in Southern Oregon is significantly different than the
Hmm.
demographic in Arizona. And
Yeah.
that Arizona demographic is significantly different than the demographic that I had with in South Carolina. And South Carolina was amazing because as somebody from Oregon, it's so cool to be exposed to these different cultures because
Yes.
I feel Oregon is kind of like this little Disneyland where we're just kind of like we're in like this little bubble where we have mountains, we have lakes, we have
Hmm.
ski hills, we have the ocean, and we life is just a lot like this. And
Yes.
but we really don't know. We really, I mean, yes, there are places in Oregon where there are disparities. I
Hmm.
totally completely acknowledge that, but I felt like in the South, it's very different. The
Yeah.
disparities are significantly different, and I feel that as somebody being raised in Southern Oregon and living in Bend, and I feel my bubble is like this. So those experiences were amazing because it kind of broadened my view of healthcare and disparities
Yeah. Broaden
across
your
the nation.
perspectives. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I have family. My dad's family is from Tennessee and North Carolina. I have two brothers that now live in Tennessee, so I've spent a lot of time back there visiting. And yeah, so I know what you're saying. It's a completely different world, and it has there's some amazing. I love it back there
Yeah.
because I was born and raised outside of the Portland area, Canby,
Mhm.
Oregon.
Yeah.
And spent I've lived in this area, whether it's I did live in Bend from 99 to 2002.
I
But
was there
then
during that time too.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's
Yeah.
so side
Yeah.
note, is that how you know
Maybe.
Aaron and Julie Craig? Is that how you know them?
No, I know Aaron
From Western.
from Western. Yeah, I know Aaron
'Cause-
because
okay.
Aaron, I can't remember. So I was lifeguards with a guy named Seth. I was
Hmm.
lifeguards and I can't remember if Aaron was a lifeguard with us or not, or he was friends with Seth. I don't know. But that's how we became friends. And
Hmm.
then Aaron moved over to Bend around the same time that I moved
Yeah,
to
he left because we were both. That's how I met him when he became a reserve for the Monmouth Police Department. I was already there,
Yeah.
and that's how we met. And then he got a job at Deschutes County, I think late '98 or early '99, and I followed him. That's why I moved to Bend. I went over to
Oh,
Bend in
interesting.
September of '99 and stayed there for 3 years. And then Julie moved up from Lakeview and became a dispatcher. So that's how I met her.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I've
Yeah.
known them for over like 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great people.
Oh, they're
I
awesome.
yeah, so I was here from 99 to 2012.
Okay.
So
Well,
I
and then now you're back, but you
yeah.
left for a while.
Yeah, I left to go down to Southern Oregon because when I first got my degree in nursing, they were on a hiring freeze at the hospital. It was shocking that they were on a hiring freeze at a
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went down to Southern Oregon because I wanted to stay in the hospital setting and work in a hospital. And so I ended up staying down in Southern Oregon for a while. And then I did take a job in 2014 briefly up here, but
Hmm.
it wasn't in the type of nursing that I really wanted to do. So then I ended up going back down to Southern Oregon and working at Rogue Regional Medical Center,
That's is that in Medford or Grants Pass?
Medford,
Is that where
Asante
you're from?
Regional.
Medford?
Well, I grew up in Medford, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I grew.
I have lots of family down there, cousins, aunts and uncles and stuff. So I've spent a lot of time in the Medford area also.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I ended up moving to Jacksonville.
Oh,
So
I love Jackson.
yeah, so
Love
the
that
chunk
little
of my
town.
time, yeah, so the chunk of my time is in Jacksonville, and my sister lived there as well. So I lived there for a while.
Okay.
So
Got it.
yeah.
I just thought about it, but I should I like to give a shout out because this where I'm recording at, my roommate has a friend over this weekend, so I didn't want to do it at my apartment. But this is the downtown location of Brothers Cascadia Brewing, and they have been. I've recorded several podcasts in the last few months here in person, but they are just so gracious and accommodating. They let me just take over this ancillary room they have across the breezeway, and I can just set up and do whatever. So I like to give them a shout out to anybody local that's watching this. Evergreen Pub, downtown Vancouver, Brothers Cascadia. Thanks for putting up with me and letting me use your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's super great. I'll have to go visit it sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Portland, Vancouver area is like craft beer mecca, so there's tons of breweries up here, and as there is in
Yeah.
Bend. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's so different. So when I lived in Bend for years,
hmm
and Black Butte Porter was my favorite beer for years.
hmm
And then I couldn't handle the heaviness anymore, so then I transferred to Mirror Pond.
hmm
And then I couldn't handle beer anymore. And then I
Yeah.
moved to Southern Oregon, and then it became wines. It became all about the
Oh
wine
God,
country.
yes. There is
So
great wines down there. Yes.
yeah, yeah, and then I'm back up to Bend, and I'll have a. I mean, yeah, I'm still in the beer culture, but not. It's more of yeah, not as much as I was back
I'm
in the
sure
day.
you've been there if you like wine, but I've only been there a few times, but I highly recommend Drew Bledsoe's winery there. He's got a
Yeah,
tasting room down there,
mhm.
kind of, you know where it's at.
Yeah, I do. I've been
They
there.
make
It's
really good wine. Holy crap.
yeah, yep,
Oh, that is too funny. Okay, so I also picked up on this, I think, from listening to some of your posts. You, for some reason, felt was it a run, a 50-mile run or a 100-mile run? You felt for some reason this would be good for my longevity and health. I should run 50 miles. Please explain yourself.
I know. So yeah, so running has always been a part of my life,
Yeah.
and I didn't take it seriously until later. My twin sister actually was the one who was the cross country person, the track runner, and she ran in college. And then I was just kind of the runner for fitness.
Your
And
twin
then
sister, she didn't go to Western too, or no?
she went to Western briefly. So we
Oh,
went
okay.
there maybe for the first 2 years we were there together, and then she transferred to OSU. But I running for me was just kind of for fun.
hmm
In high school, when we were doing cross country practice, the coaches would have us go run out into the neighborhoods. And my girlfriends and I would hitchhike back to the school with friends from high school. You know, so so I wasn't as serious about it. I was kind of a goof off, or we'd hide behind the stadium when they were doing a warm up lap. So I wasn't as serious. But then I got into it, and then in my 30s, I was running decent, and I ran my first marathon during that time, and I ran some half marathons on the road, and I've run hood to coast relay several times. In fact, I don't know if you remember Peter Courtney.
Yeah, of course, Senator.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So he was one of the presidents at our, or he worked on the board at our college. Anyways, I was on his hood to coast team for a year or two,
Okay.
way back when. But so at that time, I would finish like first in my age group. Every once in a while I might get, I'd finish in the top three of my age group, and every once in a while I might win a race. But I wasn't like, I was just an average runner.
Okay.
And then later in life, I felt like I couldn't keep up with that speed anymore. And then COVID happened, and then they quit doing all the runs ceased to exist because
Or
nobody
you
was
had
on.
to do a virtual one on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I did.
Right.
I did some of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when things were starting to open up again in Oregon, my friend who runs ultras, she asked my other friend and I if we wanted to do a 50K, and I was just like, sure, why not? And what the heck? I'll just sounds good. I'll do it, because I think we were just so desperate to do something
Yeah.
that was fitness. And I had trained, like my training was, I think I went on a multi-day backpacking trip, and I think the longest I ever did was 16 miles walking, and
hmm
I might have ran a half marathon up until that time. But I just decided to just go do this thing, this 50K, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And so this friend and I she kind of got me into this world of ultra running, and I liked it because I felt as though the road running culture is very different than the ultra running culture, and the
Okay.
training is very different. So road running, it's training on the road, it's going to the track, it's doing speed workouts, it's running around the track doing mile repeats. So
Yep.
boring,
Yes.
not very much fun. But the thing about ultra running and trail running is that you get to train in beautiful places. You're climbing these peaks and you don't have to run the entire time. You can actually speed walk and hike
Yep.
and go, you're hiking up, and it's more about the endurance. And I might not be the fastest person, but how am I planning my body? How am I treating my body to make it through? Like how am I fueling my body to make it through all of this stuff? And so I kind of was intrigued by it and found that I enjoyed it much better. I enjoyed the training, and it didn't seem as stressful, and the culture is way different. Like for example, it's not uncommon that you have at the end of a trail run, they'll have like beer, they'll
Yeah.
be passing out beer.
Yes.
And then just the dress is so different. It's just a lot more laid back, and I don't know, I gravitate towards that culture. I don't It just seems more appealing.
Well, and then
And then
living over there in Bend, you have all that amazing. I mean, you have the mountains to the west, you have the high desert to the east, but you have like
mhm.
that's perfect location to do some of these ultra runs, ultra marathons.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then so that's what's great. I mean, I love the trails out here. And there Smith Rocks has some
Yes.
really great trails.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, and so it's super. It's like in my backyard. So I start out with a 50K, and then my
Which
friend
is
said
about, is that about like
like
33
30,
miles?
32, 31 miles,
Okay.
about
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
31
It's still way
miles.
too long. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and then we jumped into. She asked, "Well, what about 100K?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll do 100K."
Of
And
course.
then, of course, yeah, that sounds like fun. And so then I did that, and I really liked that distance, and I made it through that. And then about a year later, because she was somebody who was trying to qualify for Western States, which I don't know if you follow the ultra running world. So in the ultra running universe, there's Western States, and there's UTMB, which is the ultra marathon Mont Blanc,
Okay.
and it's like those are like the Olympics of ultra running world. Like those are
Got
the
it.
two biggies, and so it's really hard to qualify for those because you have to qualify, and then you have to enter into a lottery, unless you're a high performing athlete and you win your way in. But of course, we're kind of the lottery type. And so her goal was always to get into Western States. And so she would ask me, "What about this race?" And so we signed up, she had me sign up for a 100 miler. And so I did my first 100 miler in West Virginia a couple years ago. And that was amazing. I mean, I can't believe that I, your mind is so amazing because
Yeah.
if you were to ask me 10 years ago if I was going to run a 100 miler, I'd say, no way. There's no way that I have the ability to do that. But it's just amazing what your body can do,
Yep.
and what your mind can do, and how you fuel along the way. And you have a crew that supports you all the way. I don't think a 100 miler is my favorite. I think that, yeah, it's because it's really hard. It's a
Yes.
really hard thing to do. But the 100K, I really like that distance for some reason because you're done by midnight, so you can actually go home and shower and sleep. With the 100 miler, you're on the course for over 24 hours, unless you're super fast, which I'm not super fast.
So the
But
50K took you start in the morning and you end at before the sun goes down or right about sunset?
so the 50Ks end in the early afternoon, and
Oh,
then the
that's right. Because that's
100Ks.
a little bit. I mean, that's only another 8 or 10 miles more than a marathon. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
then the 100Ks and in the nighttime.
Yeah.
And then the 100 milers and the next day.
Oh, Jesus. So do they
Yeah.
not sleep when they do a 100 mile ultra run? Do they
No.
just
So I for the 100 miler I didn't sleep. And then I signed up for another one last year. I think it was last year. I signed up for the Javelina 100.
Okay.
And that year was particularly really challenging for me. So there was a death that happened very close to me.
Hmm.
And so I just carried that weight with me that year. And so when it came time for the Javelina 100, and the Javelina 100 is this desert marathon in Arizona, ultra
Hmm.
marathon. It's a 100 miler, and it's a loop course.
Okay.
So you have these loops, these 20+ mile loops that you do. And I was fine, but the heat was incredible. It was like 90 degrees, 98 degrees. So that was incredible. And I made 80 miles, 70, about 70, 80 miles. I we stopped and I was running with my friend and we stopped at this aid station, and then I felt like I was just done.
Yeah.
And I felt the emotion, like all the emotions of that year just kind of stuck with me. And
Yeah.
and because it's a loop course, it's easy to get out of the last loop. And so I came in and I kind of just made my decision. I'm done. Like I didn't complete it. And they call that a DNF.
Hmm.
And I don't have any shame in it. Like I don't feel like I wasn't successful, because the 80 miles is still pretty.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, so 80 miles, and I feel as though I, I don't it is it is what it is. Could I have done the last loop? Yeah. I mean, I felt like I still had, I mean it wasn't like I was collapsing. So could I have done the last loop? Yes, of course I could have done it, and I could have rallied and I could have finished it within the time constraint. But I was really nervous about the heat, the morning heat, because it was going to come at 10 a.m. the next morning, and that was something that was kind of like hanging on in the back of my head. And then I was also just like, you know what? I'm going to take this out this year, and I'm just going to take the 80 miles and call it. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds
So
like you had some mental and emotional fatigue, that it wasn't so much your body necessarily.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then on top, and then so the most recent thing that I'm training, so coming back to this year, I feel like I'm on the up and up. And so there's the UTMB, which is like the mother. So you have the
Hmm.
Western States, and then you have the UTMB, which is like the main
Yeah.
thing. That's over in Chamonix
Oh yeah,
in
in France.
France.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so to qualify for this race, you run qualifying races and you collect what's called stones,
Mhm.
virtual stones. And
Yep.
so I had collected like 9 stones, and my girlfriend said, "Hey, are you gonna put yourself in the lottery?" And I wasn't even thinking about putting myself in the lottery. It was only because she said, just she reminded me. Like, "Oh yeah, sure, I guess I'll do that." And then there was a couple friends that had put themselves in this lottery, and then I was the one that got a application to, or got chosen to
Yeah.
to take part in this race. So the UTMB has several distances. So they have a 50-ish K, and they have a 100K, and then the 100 miler is like the main one. And
Yeah.
so I got into the 50K-ish. It's called the OCC, UTMB OCC. So that's what I'm going to be training for, is for that race in August in Chamonix. So I'm
Gosh,
super
and
excited.
how do you train for those? I mean, you're not out there running 50K in your training, I'm assuming. You build up to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things that I did is I also signed up for a 100K race called the SOB in Southern Oregon.
Hmm.
And so these races have a lot of climbing in them. So I'm going to focus on climbing. And I've had coaches in the past. And so this year I'm hiring another coach to help me with this. Um, so you train, and you have to train pretty specifically because you don't want to get an injury.
Yeah.
And so you just you have these things where you'll build, and then you'll cut back, and then you'll build, and you'll cut back, and then you'll build, and you'll cut back. So I don't know uh, what they'll have me train up to, but for the 100 miler, they only had us, they only had me train up to 50 miles.
Okay.
So there, you just grit the, it's all about grit on the
Yeah.
last half of it.
Yes.
And then for 50K, like maybe you train up to 26 miles. And
Okay.
even for marathon training, when I did marathon training back in the day, you didn't run the full distance for your
Yep.
training. So I don't know how we'll do it this time, but I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of climbing, and a lot of hiking uphill.
You'll be
It's
at
gonna be
Smith Rock a
great.
lot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great place to train. Oh my goodness. Have you been out there?
Yes, I've hiked all the way to the
So,
top. Yeah.
yeah, but there's a whole trail system that goes deep back there.
I have not explored
So,
those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so it's pretty amazing. I mean, the trail system out there is pretty great.
Yeah,
So,
I wish I still lived in Bend. I love Central Oregon was like my favorite place. Eventually, I might try to end up back there when I retire. But yeah,
yeah,
I love that part of the country or the part of the state actually.
yeah,
Although it's grown. It was 50,000 people when I lived there.
yeah,
It's just a very different town.
yeah, yeah. It's coming back this second or this third time. It's changed quite a bit. I like it in some ways, and sometimes I miss the old Ben, but
Yeah.
like the little greasy spoon called the Ski Bunny. I don't know if you remember that restaurant, but it was on your way to the mountain, and it was like a greasy
Oh,
spoon that we used to go at. It no longer exists, but just
okay.
those little mom and pop shops
Yep.
that were kind of
Awesome.
or Oregon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I'd love that. I'd love that area. So now your regular nursing job is you're not traveling anymore. You have a
No.
okay somewhere in
No,
Bend.
I'm rooted here in Bend. I just feel really connected to Bend. Like it just feels like home to me.
Yeah.
I I don't know why I didn't stay here. I mean, why did I leave? I mean, I know why I left, but why I didn't come back sooner. I don't know. I just feel for now, I'm hopeful that I'll stay here, but it just feels where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an outdoorsy person and I have been my whole life. And so having the Cascades in my backyard is just fitting for me.
Yes.
So I mean, I raft, I ski, I hike. I used to mountain bike. I don't mountain bike anymore. I mean, I would get into it, but it's not something that is a priority. I mean, I think as we age, we have to choose sports that aren't going to put us in danger. And
Yes.
mountain
Oh my
biking,
gosh. That's actually something I wouldn't mind talking to you about too. Hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna pause it. I need a potty break. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna pause, but I'll be right back. There we go. All right. So a little bit of background. Born and raised in Medford and went to high school there.
I went to high school. Well, I was actually born in Miami,
Oh, okay.
but my story is that my dad grew up in Medford and he left for a little bit and then had my sisters and I and then brought us back. So I say that I'm I get born elsewhere but raised in Oregon. I mean, I still feel like an Oregonian. My family actually settled in the Dalles, Oregon, and there's a museum in my family's name.
Oh,
Or my
okay.
fam or my great not my maiden name, but uh and the Anderson House in the Fort
Okay.
Dalles Museum, that's my great grandfather.
Oh, okay.
And so I feel very connected to Oregon. Like I feel like it's a part of my lifeline. So even though he left and even though I wasn't uh born here, I still claim Oregon.
But like your formative years, how old were you when you came to Oregon?
Like three.
Oh, so yeah,
So
you probably
yeah,
don't
so
you're
yeah,
all
so
your
so
memory
birth,
is Oregon.
yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
birth until three. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. And so I went to high school at South Medford
Hmm.
and then went to Western, of course.
Hmm.
Lived there and I lived in Salem for a little bit, then went to Seattle for a little bit, and then came over to Bend and then back to Southern Oregon.
And
So
you oh, and you I think you know my friend Stacy because were you guys RAs together?
yeah, we were resident assistants. I love Stacy. Stacy
Stacy is
was
a
a
sweetheart.
riot. Yeah, I enjoyed her greatly. She was loads of fun. Yeah, our resident assistants. I don't, did you do RA?
So it's funny because I my freshman year at Western was 1990, and at the end of that year, I signed up to be an RA for the next year, but then I became a father. So we took the next year off from school, and then so I didn't do it, and then we came back in like 90, the end of 92, and went back into school and so I went through the training twice and maybe I went
Mhm.
through the training with you the second time because that would have been the training for the 93 school year that I was supposed to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that like Tina Fuchs was one of the instructors,
Yeah. So
but then
I,
I, but then I, then we got divorced and I didn't do it. So I went through the training twice, but never actually did it.
yeah. So I did it. So my freshman year, I lived in Heritage, and then my sophomore year is when I did the RA,
Then
and then I
I
didn't
think
do it
you're
after that.
younger than me.
Well, I graduated in 1991.
Yeah, you're 1 year younger because I
Yeah.
was my freshman dorm was Heritage Hall, but you were there
Yeah.
the next year. So okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, Heritage was I have so many good memories at Heritage Hall. Wow.
Yeah.
That is funny. So what was the RA thing like? Because again, I went to the training. I do know what me and not me necessarily, but like my RA on my floor, third floor of Heritage, what we put him through, was it worth the free meal plan and the free board, room and board? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was that year was a hard year for me, actually, the year I
Okay.
was an RA. And so I felt like I didn't, I wasn't my best.
Yeah.
I wasn't my best. And I could have, and so that was really hard because I feel like the residents could sense that.
Hmm.
And so it kind of made it a little bit difficult. I had
Which
some,
dorm did they put you in to be an
I was
RA?
in Heritage. I
Oh,
was in
okay.
Heritage.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it just was not my favorite year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But although I would like to
So
hope that
my parents,
go ahead.
yeah, I know I was gonna say my parents went through a divorce that year.
Okay.
That was the year that some of that stuff was happening.
Yeah,
So
that's
it made
that's
it
got
a
to be
little bit
rough.
challenging.
Although I would hope that
Yeah.
having a whole wing or floor of female residents or female students, I would hope they're nicer to their RA than the dumb guys were. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were fine. They were fine. I look back on that and it's so crazy to think that you look at your maturity and you look at who you are now
Hmm.
and what you were back then. And if you had this confidence, or if I had this confidence, or if I had who I am now and just infused it into my
Oh,
younger self,
yes.
where would our trajectory be?
Oh God.
Where would it have gone? But the coolest thing about life is that it's okay to not, you can reflect on it but not dwell on it. And it's okay because this is our start.
Yeah.
We still have places to go. So we get to take that knowledge and say, well, my goodness, here I am now, but look where I get to go now with
Yeah.
this found confidence or whatever. And so I just, it's just fascinating to me because that year particularly, I look back and I'm like, man, that was a rough year.
Yeah, and
So
of course, it's a great thought experiment. If I could go
yeah,
back to if I could go back to my freshman year of college, but have keep all the knowledge I have now, oh God, I'd be a totally different person. It'd be amazing.
yeah,
But also to your point, maybe we still got lots of time on this planet, and now we have the
absolutely.
awareness, so we can still
Mhm.
we can still make amazing choices and do things.
Absolutely. And that's what's so beautiful about life. I mean, even though we're in our 50s, that doesn't mean we have to stop. We can still keep going and
Yeah.
do things and still be creative and still that never stops.
I mean, it's
Ever.
it's it's weird because I still feel, I mean, obviously I can't do the physical athletic things that what I did in my 20s, but I'm still, I still work out all the time. I don't feel like I'm 53.
Yeah.
I still can hike all I want. Mentally, I still feel I don't, but I know like I'll catch a look in the mirror sometimes like, oh God, you're old, dude. But
Yeah.
I don't feel old.
Right. I don't feel like I don't feel how I perceive my parents to be at my age. Does that
That's
make
exactly,
sense?
that's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah. No offense, mom and dad, if you're watching this, but
No.
I feel m- like in my mind, I feel more vibrant, maybe in the sense of what I'm doing with my physical body.
Hmm.
Um, with the running and the hiking and all of that. And I still like to go to concerts with my nieces and nephews.
Yes.
I'll I'll go to the what are they called? The electronic concerts
Oh,
that
EDM.
yeah, the ED,
Yes.
I haven't gone to one yet, but I really want to go to one with my nieces and nephews. Like I
Yes.
really want to go. But I think Taylor Swift, the whole Taylor Swift,
Hmm.
watching all the moms and their daughters go to or parents and their children go to those shows is a testament of that,
Yes.
of the Gen Xer generation.
Yep. And you probably know this, but yeah, Julie Craig is a major Swiftie. Oh my God, she's so in love with Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Which that's
yeah.
great. I mean, and again, I work at Costco in the tire shop. And I work with a lot of 20 somethings and early 30 somethings. And it's weird because I interact with them the same way that I would when I was 20. It's really weird. So again, I'm the oldest in the shop by a while, but I don't think they even look at me as the old guy. It's weird.
Yeah.
I just try to keep a fresh young mind. And of course, we know so much more, especially talking about longevity and health coaching. I've been following Peter Attia's work for years, and he's all about like, look, as we age, it's not about how much you can bench press. It's there's certain benchmarks, certain grip strength is incredibly important as we age. You know,
Hmm.
the ability to stop yourself going downhill, and if you stumble, you have to have the leg strength to be able to put a foot out and stop yourself so you don't fall and break a hip. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it's transitioned from what kind of exercise and lifestyle is going to maximize um, health span versus lifespan. Because even if
Hmm.
I want to make it to 85 or 90, but I still want to be functional, which that probably is a big aspect of your business that you're starting.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Functional for sure. It's interesting because I used to be a downhill skier. Well, I am a
Oh,
downhill skier, but I did it for years. And when I lived in Bend, I mean, the mountain's are right there. And then I moved down to Southern Oregon and it kind of just went away. It wasn't something that was such a priority of my life. And in fact, I skied in college.
oh,
I I made my schedule where I had Tuesdays and Thursdays off,
yep.
and then those were, oh, let's go up to Mount Hood and ski. And then I worked at GI South Salem GI Joe's, and so we had like a VIP pass that we could use. And so I went up
Yeah.
there and I did that. And so it was a pretty big part of my life back in the day. And then I decided this past year that I was going to get a season pass and get back into it. And it's interesting because I feel as though that is going to be helpful for my balance
Oh,
as I
absolutely.
age. And then
Yes.
yeah, and I also skate ski. I don't know if you would know what skate
I
ski
don't even know
is.
what that is. No.
So the Olympic, if you watch the Olympic Nordic skiing and
Hmm.
they're skating on the snow, that's skate skiing. And
So are the skis shorter?
no, they're about the same length as Nordic skis, like cross country skis, but they're super thin and they have no traction. So you can
Oh,
glide and speed. And so
okay.
I do that and I went up today actually, and that I hope is also helpful for my balance. It's like
It
doing,
has to be because
yeah,
you're practicing and even hiking, outdoor hiking is great,
yeah.
I think, because you need to get the training and the practice of being on uneven terrain. That is
Hmm.
how you keep your body learning how to catch yourself when you have a misstep. If you just do laps around a track, you're not going to be you're not teaching your body how to handle unanticipated terrain or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. And the other day I was on the ski slope and I rode the lift with these two guys from Sisters, and
Hmm.
they've been in the region for like 30 plus years and they're in their 70s and they're still getting after
Yes,
it on downhill skiing.
that's
And I was like,
amazing.
I want to be just like them. Um
And that's
I
funny.
and so
You might
yeah.
have a perspective on this because I'm a snowboarder. I've never learned how to ski. I've been snowboarding since I was like 30. But I've had the thought that as I age, do I need to eventually transition to skiing? Is there going to be an age that I get to where it's just not practical to snowboard? I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't have a very good relationship with snowboarding.
Oh, that sounds like
Right.
a story. Do tell.
Yeah, so when I worked at GI Joe's, I mean back in the day when it was GI Joe's
Yeah.
before Dick's came and bought it out. But so at GI Joe's, I worked in the ski shop of
Hmm.
of GI
Yeah.
Joe's at the South Salem store. I don't know if you remember that store, but we had a demo of snowboarding where they wanted
Mhm.
us to go out and try the snowboards and see how we, so we could sell the product.
Yeah. Yes.
And so they took us up to Hoodoo, and we
Yeah.
stayed at the Metolius Lodges,
Hmm.
and we went up there, and they put us through a snowboarding class, and I it
So
just did
this would have
not.
been, would this have been the mid 90s?
Yes, it would have been
So
the mid
snowboarding
'90s.
was still kind of new.
Yeah, it was new, but we were just starting to sell it, like Burton. And
Yes.
then Moro, who's the guys from Salem? Like I think there was a company out of
Morrow sounds
Salem.
like a name I know. Yeah.
Yeah, or there was one company out of Salem, but so they took us and they paid for us to go stay at the Metolius Lodges, and they took us up to the mountain. And I think I got the snowboard on and rode the lift, and I went one run on the snowboard
Okay.
and I just it didn't connect with me, and I marched right over to where and I handed the snowboard back, and I said I want my skis
Okay,
because it
that
just
makes me
didn't
happy.
connect.
I was afraid that this was going to end with like you had a traumatic injury the first time you tried. So
No,
thank God. It just
no,
you
it
were
just
just like this
it,
is not for me.
this is not for me. I didn't get it. However, I know about so I water skied when I was a kid, and
Like
I
a
slalom
slalom
skied, and
ski?
then when yeah, slalom ski, single
Yep.
ski,
Yep.
water skiing. And then when wakeboarding got big, it's like I didn't have a problem doing wakeboarding. Like wakeboarding was something, and you still have to use your goofy foot or whatever,
Yes.
however they call it. But snowboarding just did not connect with me. And
That
I
is
know I
so
didn't give
funny.
it, yeah, I didn't give it a chance.
Yeah.
I didn't because I just didn't have the patience, I guess.
But you already knew how to ski, so it's almost like why do I need to learn this?
Right, right,
And
right.
I will so I was lucky. My good friend Charlie, she was the one that got me into it. But there is a, and I'm assuming there's a learning curve with skiing, but she had to take me up. We went 2 weekends in a row, both Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, worked the week, the next Saturday and Sunday, and it was the fourth day that second Sunday was when it clicked. But up until that point, I was just falling down. I couldn't figure out how to transition from heel side to toe side. So frustrated. But on that fourth day, because if you want to learn something like this, you have to do the repetitions. You
Hmm.
can't go once and then wait 2 months or wait till the next season and go again. You've got to do a lot of reps very quick, and it clicked. And once it clicked, like I can go. I've taken years off of snowboarding, and I have no problem picking it right back up when I go.
Yeah.
But it is, yeah, it's definitely a unique skill. I've never tried skiing. I'm curious, how hard, and since you did snowboarding once, do you think you can maybe compare the learning curve for skiing versus snowboarding?
So what I've heard is I don't know. I've had people tell me mixed things
Hmm.
because some people will say that snowboarding is more difficult to learn, and then some people will say, well, no, skiing is more difficult to learn. So I really have I don't know what the learning curve is actually because back in the day, I remember people saying that snowboarding was easier to learn and skiing was more difficult to learn. I don't know. I don't, so I really have no perspective on that really.
And I wonder if
Uh,
it might help if you already know how to do one, it might make it easier to learn the other because at least I understand the concept of edges and
mhm.
turning. So at least I know that already, and I just have to apply that to skis, and I'm facing downhill instead of standing sideways.
Yeah,
So maybe I could learn it easier now that I already know how to snowboard. But yeah,
right.
and I'm always so jealous. The one thing that I do hate about snowboarding is we have to friggin' strap in. I hate
Yeah.
having to strap in and get, and my ski
Yeah.
buddies that I go with, as soon as we get off the lift, they're just like, oh, let's go. And they're all having to wait for me to strap in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of, that just seemed like another step that I wasn't really excited about. And
Yes.
then also too, like when you're like bachelor, you've gone to bachelor, I'm sure.
I've ridden Bachelor, yeah.
But when you go from, I think it's Pine Mountain Express, the main one
Hmm.
that goes up to the mid lodge, and then you go down to the other to get to the east side of the mountain.
Yes.
Sometimes you can get some slowing there,
Right.
and with skiing, you just
That-
it's easier to
okay.
do
That's the
versus
other bugaboo is because I've done Bachelor. Most of my riding has been at Mount Hood Meadows, and there are certain flat spots, and you learn once you know the runs. If you're good and you remember it, you can try to build up enough speed to get through it. But there's certain runs that I want to get to, um, that I have to unstrap and push myself, and I'm just like,
yeah,
God, it's so tedious. Yeah, because I can't just have my poles.
right,
But it's
right.
also another investment. I have all the equipment to snowboard. And this stuff's not cheap. So like at some point maybe I will transition to skiing, but that's, I'll have to budget for that.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention the price, like, okay, especially with all the liability lawsuits, God, what's a daily lift ticket running at Bachelor nowadays?
Well, I gotta pass this year just to see if that how that was gonna play out. The snow hasn't been great, so now I feel like I have to make an effort to get up there as much as I can. But
Yeah.
I think they're between 100 to 250 bucks a
But
day.
all the resorts are starting to do what they call the dynamic pricing. So it like changes depending
Yeah.
on demand. And if the
Yep.
weather is bad that day, they'll drop the price just to get people up
Yeah.
there.
So the lowest I've seen it is around 90 bucks, 95
Okay.
bucks, I think, and
Yeah.
then the highest like 150.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's yeah, and I don't know, it seems expensive. And I guess because I lived here, I felt that I had season passes in the past and I liked it because I didn't feel like I had to stay on the mountain all day long if I went
Oh, right.
up.
There's no pressure to
Yeah,
maximize your 1 day ticket that you bought.
right, right.
Yes.
And then if the conditions were bad on like today I was going to go skiing, but I decided not to, but I chose to skate ski instead and I just went down
Mhm.
to the Nordic trails and skated. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right, I'm gonna dive because God, you've been too gracious with your time. We're a little over an hour, I think. But I do want to dive back into and this is probably something you're already dealing with, but going from you still have this job, this full-time job, you're trying to get your coaching business up and running. Time management, how are you doing this? Are you, and I'm assuming you've kind of set up a home office
Yeah.
for the coaching business, but how are you navigating, here's the time I have to be at my regular job and I still need to have time to exercise, to get outdoors, to spend time with family and friends, to go to Drew Bledsoe's winery, whatever. But how do you keep the healthy balance, especially when you're starting the business is when you have to put the most hours in?
Right. And that's a very, very good question. So the great thing about nursing is you only work 3 days a week for
Are
full
you doing
time,
12-hour shifts?
12-hour shifts
Okay.
and 3 days a week. And then I'm hired on per diem. So I am a per diem nurse. So I'm not in a set schedule or I'm not committed to a 36-hour work week. And
Okay.
but I work full time, but I just pick and choose whenever I want to work. So some weeks I might work 5 days, some weeks I might work two. So
Oh,
it just varies. It's a very flexible
is it at the
schedule.
same clinic, hospital, whatever, the same
Yeah, it's the
location?
same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Got
same.
it.
So I haven't been staff nursing. I mean, I'm still employed by the hospital, but I left my full-time job when I
Hmm.
went to go travel nursing, and I haven't
Yeah.
been able to get myself back into a full-time job because the flexibility is super valuable to me.
Especially
I
when you're starting a business, you need that.
Yeah, yeah, and I like to take 2 weeks off and not have to compete for that time with anybody else, or
Yes.
just the time flexibility is something that's very important to me. And I will work hard. I don't mind working hard. I don't mind working weekends. I work nights sometimes too. Like nights is actually what I do a lot of as well. And so, and I don't have, I mean, I have a home, but I am single. I don't have children.
Hmm.
And so, there's just things in my life that I don't have other commitments
Right,
to
right.
put my time to. And so it seems to be, I find the time. I wish I had more time to spend on business, but I don't. And so I know that it's a slow process and I know that it's going. But I mean, if I spend 8 to 10 hours a week on the business right now, that's fine. And
Yeah.
that's not a big deal because that's just like evenings. You know, I have 4 days off. If I work 3 days a week, I have 4 days
Okay, so
to.
it's not overwhelming yet, and
No,
thank God for
no.
the advent of the internet and how because I'm I'm assuming most of your clients it's going to be an online business. You might end up with some clients in the area that you might do in-person coaching with,
Yeah.
but thank
And
God for the
workshops.
internet.
Yeah.
It's a low cost of entry, whereas
Hmm.
you don't have to pay for a storefront. You don't have to have a physical space.
No, no.
Now,
And
I'm
it's,
assuming the training costs you some money.
oh yeah, yeah. And the training, yeah, that costs me money. And then also you are putting an investment in, like I am investing into the company, but it's the investment isn't as like a store. Like my investment is low compared to doing a business like a store.
Yeah.
So, and it's in my control. I don't have to have an office.
Hmm.
I don't need to have a tremendous amount of advertising. I don't have to have employees.
Right.
So there's lots of, so the overhead is not as high.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's kind of nice because I feel like my hope is that I can, uh, cut back hours, do a thing where I'm cutting back a little bit hours and spending more time on the business. And then being
Hmm.
PRN, I can do that because I can pull back and then raise my hours in the business
So even though
as
you're
they
not,
come.
I think you called it, you're not back to being a staff nurse, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
which gives you flexibility, but you still get the benefits, like health.
No,
Oh, do you have
no.
to pay for your own
I
medical
pay for my
insurance?
own insurance,
Oh, geez.
and
Okay.
I also, yeah, I pay for my own insurance, and then
So you're a contract employee.
no, I'm still an employee.
Okay.
I'm still an employee, but I, it's PRN, so
I don't know what that
so
acronym
I,
is.
it's you're you're on call. So basically, you have all the full-time people, and then there's all these extra shifts.
Hmm.
And then so someone like myself comes in and picks up those shifts. So if people are going on vacation,
Got
or
it.
if they're going on maternity leave, or if they're sick, there's all these shifts that need to be
Yeah.
held or be filled. And so PRN people can come in and pick up those shifts.
And there's
And so
probably always plenty of those shifts.
yeah, yeah, the demand is great. I mean, there's a nursing shortage right now. I mean, I don't know if you've heard, but
Yes, I think I have.
yeah, so it's an epic. It's all across the United States, but so so I haven't had any issues with not having um, the ability to pick up shifts.
Yeah.
And so so I don't get the benefits. I don't get the 401k. I contribute to a 401k, but I don't get the benefit of matching,
Right.
which is
Got it.
okay because my time is way more valuable than that. And
Absolutely.
for now, this is working. If I need to go pick up a full-time job or take an actual position, I will. And that's the beauty
Yeah.
about nursing is it's very versatile. There's so many things that we can do with nursing.
Yes.
So it was a game changer for me, really. I mean,
And
it
were
really,
you, have you, speaking of the healthy work-life balance,
yeah.
since you're going to be doing your business at home, have you like set up a separate office space dedicated? I only go in there for work so that, because you don't want to mix like your bedroom with your work. You see what I'm saying?
It's interesting because I have a place over here, which I don't own the house, but
Mhm.
I have 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
And when I got the house, I said, okay, that back bedroom is gonna be my office,
Hmm.
and that'll be whatever. And then the space didn't feel right to me. Like it didn't feel like it was a space for an office to do the work that I want to be doing. And so I
Just
brought,
instinctually there was something not
It
right
just
about it.
didn't feel right. Like the room
Yeah.
is a little bit darker and it just didn't feel right. So then I end up making that into a guest bedroom. And
Okay.
then I have a kind of like an open space living room, grand room.
A
And I
great
have
room,
a
like,
little, yeah, great room.
okay.
And I have a little desk that's set up over there to be my office, and I don't even
Perfect.
use that. Most of my work is done at my kitchen table.
Okay.
So so that's where my office is, even though I have a little area by my front window that has a lot of light.
But then when
It's
it's time to turn work off, you can go to a different space, whether it's your living room, couch, or yeah, yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that actually sounds amazing. Are you, no specifics? Are you outside of Bend or in downtown or in Bend
I'm in
proper?
the I'm in Bend proper, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And I
Well, like,
also
you know where Julie and Aaron live, right off a third.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of in the town proper. You're not like out east or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll also work at coffee shops. Like I also will sometimes
Oh,
go down to coffee shops and do work.
oh, I'm sorry. You go there to do your work. You don't have
Yeah.
a side gig as a barista. Got
No,
it.
no, no.
Okay.
I go down there to work. I like being around people, so that's my
Yes.
exposure to
Absolutely. Clearly, you
people.
like being around people. You're a coach. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta like people. And I'm a nurse too. I'm a
yes. Oh my
nurse.
gosh. And you mentioned the nursing shortage. I'm assuming that's an after effect of what we just went through with the pandemic and all that, and all this compassion fatigue. Or
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Years ago, they were predicting this, actually. They were
oh,
predicting that there was going to be a nursing shortage. And there's several factors that play into it. One, you have a population of nurses that are retiring,
yes.
so that's a factor. You also have schools that aren't putting out the nurses as quickly, as fast enough. Like there's not
Okay.
the volume of nurses that are being out there. And then one of the things that I've seen in my experience, and I don't have any data to support this, it's just an
Just
observation.
anecdotally, this is what you're
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people that are newer in the field, they they're not sticking around as long. So say at bedside, they might come into bedside for a couple of years and then move. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to get into management. I don't want to do that. I want to go to wound care. I don't want to do that. I want to become a nurse practitioner. And so the longevity back in the day, it used to be that people would stay in their positions at bedside for years.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't see happening as much. And I
So
remember during
that's a generational thing, maybe
I
because
think it could be a generational thing. I think that could be it, or maybe the workload is harder. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I personally like because of what I do, I'm not a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 person, and
Yeah.
so bedside works for me. So it's either going to be bedside or it's going to be my own company,
Mhm.
unless I found something that worked for me in that way. So I don't mind being at bedside. It doesn't bother me. I this job that I have up here is actually quite enjoyable in contrast to what I was doing in Southern Oregon.
Good.
Um, it's just I'm not in the critical care in the ICUs. I am in critical care, but it's not the ICU or the ER, so it's a little bit different. I
Okay.
feel a little bit of weight lifted. But I remember when I went back east to do the travel nursing, and that was on the tail end of COVID. And I remember having some conversations with some people that were younger than me that had just been, I remember like 3 or 4 conversations with 3 or 4 different people, and they were newly in the field, like 1 to 2 years out. And the conversations I had with them were just like, I'm out of this. I'm not doing this. I'm going into finance, or they had it
Huh.
in 2 years. They have had it with
Wow.
their positions in nursing, and that was really surprising to me because when I graduated from nursing, the program that I went through was really hard, and it was hard to get into nursing, and it
Yeah.
was hard for me to find a job. And when I got a job, I felt fortunate and lucky
Mhm.
that I actually had a nursing job. And so my perspective was I am incredibly grateful for this position. I am thankful, I'm grateful. This is a game changer for me. it was like I didn't have to worry about my career anymore, whereas up until that time I worried about it.
Yeah.
And so I felt very thankful and
Grateful. Yes.
yeah, I was just like I felt it was like a gift to be doing
Hmm.
what I'm doing. And I just don't know if that is the same. I don't know if that's the same. I don't want to offend anybody in saying that, but I
Well,
just
don't worry, I will. Yeah, there
it's
is a
just not the
generational
same.
difference. A little bit more sense of entitlement, but maybe our parents thought that about us too. So who knows?
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, and maybe there's things that my parents thought I was entitled to that
Yeah.
was different. And it is interesting. It's to see that contrast. And there are like I work with some people that are much younger than me and I think that they're amazing. I really
Yeah.
do. And they do a wonderful job and they're very motivated and they're sponges. They just want to learn everything
Yep.
and yes, I want to learn, but I'm kind of like at the bell-shaped curve of my career. I'm just
Yes.
kind of like coming down. So but I just find that something to be interesting. And so I feel those factors are, the lack of education, the difference in the nurses that are being put out there, the volume of work that we have to deal with now, and then the the nurses that are retiring. Those are all contributing factors.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot more
So,
openings coming. There might be more retirements than there are nurses to replace them.
right. And then the other thing too is the baby boomer population. So the baby boomer population are the sick population right now. And so
Yes.
they're also in the hospitals. Um, so all of that.
It's like the
There's
perfect storm. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. And
More
then
more people needing care,
right.
people retiring, not enough to replace them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just been fascinating to watch and watch healthcare, and it's going to be interesting to see how the future goes with healthcare and where we're headed. Uh, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's fascinating to me. We I don't know if this is like this in your area, but we're so overloaded where that they have what's called boarding in the ER where we don't have enough rooms at the ends
Oh.
and people have to hang out in the ER as
Oh.
admitted patients. So that's something that happens. And I've seen that at all
Wow.
the hospitals I've worked at.
Holy crap.
Um,
No, I
yeah,
mean, haven't heard of that. I don't. Trying to think. I know I know a few people in the healthcare industry here, but they're not people that I like see all the time and talk to. Yeah, maybe I should have them on the podcast and kind of get more of a local perspective on it. Yeah. But it sounds like you were going back to the very start of this. You mentioned something about not only the compassion fatigue, but how do you, and this kind of was an impetus to start your coaching business, but even if you've been in a career for a certain amount of time, everybody goes through ups and downs and you just get into a malaise. How do you re-energize yourself without doing a 180? Although it sounds like after when you got to your 30s and got into nursing, that was kind of a way for you to re-energize yourself professionally. But now maybe starting this business is another way to kind of re-energize yourself. And so
yeah,
you get some of that passion back.
yeah. It's interesting because I look at where I feel like I did quit a job and that kind of helped with it. But I've implemented some things of with my everyday that have been
Hmm.
really helpful. And one of the things that I do is on my drives into work, I listen to meditative music
Yeah.
or I listen to meditations because I think the mind and how we mind expansion and all of that kind of sets the tone for our days. And so
Yeah.
that's something that I have kind of implemented and I do believe that as caregivers, we need to be thoughtful about ourselves because if we're not thoughtful about ourselves, then how can we actually have the capacity to care? And
Yes.
so that's something that I'm also mindful of. And I try to go internal as the best I can.
Hmm.
I try not to react. Like say if a patient's reacting towards me or they're angry and they're upset and they're taking everything out on me, I can stand there and be a sounding board.
Yes.
And I can stand there and just like they can throw it at me, but I don't have to take that. I don't have to own that. I don't have to do anything because that's not that they're not necessarily mad at
It's not about
me.
you. They're not
It's
mad at
not
you.
about me.
Yeah.
And so just changing perspective and getting your head in a frame of mind where it's not all about you. This is about them. And
Yes.
knowing, starting my day off with these meditative moments, I kind of walk into work with a being centered and calm.
Yeah.
And anything that is like I don't have conversations, I'm not listening to the news, I'm not doing anything but just kind of
Why
getting
wouldn't you
centered
listen
for
to
my
the news?
day.
That's very relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's been something that I've integrated and it's been really helpful and like I mean I think that could be beneficial for anyone um in any profession really.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
and so that's something that has been really helpful in reframing. I feel like I have a different, going back to changing the notion of the idea that that patient is a global thing.
Hmm.
So it's not, that's been really helpful with my compassion. And the demographic up here it has also changed a little bit. And I feel like I work with a lot more elderly, which has been really fun because I think a lot of them are really sweet and adorable and fantastic. And
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something really special about somebody who is 30 30 years older than me and
Well,
having conversations with
they
them.
have perspective and they have wisdom you can only gain through being on the planet for that long.
Yeah,
And again,
yeah.
their perspectives and their wisdom is actually, it's my daughter's 34. I love her to death. We are very close, but it is so funny. And I've said this before. She's too much like me. I see her, I see her going through things at her age now that I was going through, maybe struggles from my perspective. But I'm like, I can't tell her this. This is stuff she has to live and learn. Because my mom,
Right.
even my mom tried to subtly drop some hints that, hey, maybe that's a, not that she's making poor choices. I'm going to be generic about this, but anyway, um, there are certain things you have to learn by living. You can't be
Hmm.
told,
Right.
unfortunately. Um, yeah, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you wrap it up, but I do because gosh, you have been again way too kind. We're pushing an hour and a half,
Oh,
and I
that's
would
okay.
keep talking forever, but I think we both have stuff to do tonight. Let me make sure I get everything right again because I'm gonna plug it. You have a website, right?
Yeah, it's
And then are you also using social media too?
yeah, I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot on my Facebook. I've kind of switched everything to not be personal as much anymore, but I've made it more business. So I have a Facebook, a Instagram, and then I also have some TikTok stuff out there as well.
Got it. And the
So,
Facebook and the Instagram are more focused on the business now, so I can share
yeah.
links to that, and then also
Yeah,
a link to your
absolutely.
website.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if anybody, I mean, I do gift sessions.
Yeah.
I'm always up for gifting sessions for people. I like to start out with 2 sessions, 2 to 3 sessions
Hmm.
gifting, and then to see if I connect with people. And I
Yes.
really enjoy it. I really, and some of, doing it, spending my time, even though I may not necessarily get paid for that time, that still is rewarding for both parties.
Yes.
And so connection is real. And I don't know, it's something I feel really passionate about this because, and I feel that I feel we're kind of shifting in healthcare. Is yes, there's all these things at the hospital that I talk about, and it might not be super positive, but I also feel is we're also on a shift where we're focused on preventative, like
Hmm.
mental health, like what can we do for ourselves to prevent us to be in the hospital, like longevity is huge right now.
Yes.
And so those are themes that are just really great, and I'm
Hmm.
super passionate about all of the things that are going to prevent us to being at those places in the hospital, having us become our best selves, our best
Yeah.
healthy selves, and all of that. Like, and so I'm super excited about this avenue, and I'm looking forward to the trajectory of where it's going to go. So I'm hoping to be to take it in many places, and I'm super excited about it.
Well,
And I
this is
appreciate you.
definitely,
Thank you so much for reaching out and I thank you
yes.
for focusing a lot of the conversation about that because I'm super excited about it.
No, and I can tell you have a passion for it. I think you're going to do very well in it. Very positive. So yeah, I'm happy to support you. And
Yeah.
here, I'm going to wrap it up and we can do a quick goodbye after I stop recording. But I
Okay, sounds
totally
good.
appreciate your time, Julie. This is awesome. I'm going to hit stop now.